Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. You're watching Lindalately. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to make Laotian curry chicken soup, also known as kapun gai. There are many different variations of kapun and different styles and different things that you could put in it, but I like to put bamboo shoots in mine. In this case, I do have the canned kinds instead of the fresh ones, but these are still pretty good and juicy, and I use 2 cans, but you can use more or less depending on how much you decide to make for yourself. These 2 ingredients right here, the red curry paste on your left and then the coconut milk on your right, this is going to give the kapun the signature flavor that everyone loves, and it just depends on you, but I use only 1 can of coconut milk, but if you like yours creamier, then feel free to add another can. All of my old subscribers know that I pretty much put this in everything. This is basically chicken bouillon powder, and I am going to be adding it into my recipe today as well, and it just enhances the flavor. My other all-time favorite ingredient would be the fried garlic. It doesn't really matter what brand you're using, but I am going to be putting this in my broth to give a little hint of sweetness to my broth, and it just makes the kapun taste so much better. Because I don't like my kapun to be jang, which basically just means plain and Lao, I use fish sauce, and I either use the squid brand on your left, or I'm going to be using the 3 crab brand on your right. And this just adds some saltiness to my food. I also put a little bit of kaffir, also known as shrimp paste, into my broth to add some more complex layers of flavors and just to make it not so boring, I guess you can say. And trust me, a little bit goes a long way, but it really does make a difference. My laptop is being really rude right now, so it's not letting me upload the clip of the padaek that I use, but I did put some padaek, which is unfiltered fish sauce, into the kapun also. I also add MSG and sugar into my recipe as well. Some people just get freaked out about MSG, so they don't want to use it, so you don't have to use it if you don't want to use it, but I always use it. I'm just going to be 100 with you guys. For the herbs, I am going to be using Galangal, which I do have here on my left, and it's a little frozen still, but that's okay. And then to my right, I do have some ginger, and I'm using a good bit because I love the citrusy flavor that it brings and how fresh it makes my broth taste, and it's just all around really good herbs. I'm also going to be adding a good bit of kaffir lime leaves into my broth as well, and I just love this stuff so much. I do not recommend making a broth without it. It's just citrusy as well and tangy. It makes your food taste light, but smells so good and fragrant. For the protein, I am going to be using chicken thigh. I prefer to use thighs over breasts most of the time just because it's not going to be dry, and I'm using about 5 pounds here, but honestly, if you want to double that up, you should, because I've realized I like a lot more meat in mine, but this is what I use for today's recipe. The noodles that I'm going to be using are vermicelli noodles or kapun noodles in Lao, or if you're Vietnamese, I guess you can call these bun noodles, and they're a lot different than pho noodles. They're starchy, they're round, and overall the texture is different, but this, it's very good, and you have to have this in kapun. The noodles are fairly easy to cook. You're just going to boil them for about 12 to 13 minutes, and you don't want it to be overcooked, so don't go longer than that. Just taste it, because if you do more than that, it's going to be mushy, but if it's a little bit under, then you will have a little bit of a bite to it, but you want it to be in the middle. Traditionally, you're supposed to strain the noodles using a colander, and then you're going to be rinsing all of the starch away, but in today's video I'm just going to be putting it inside of a bucket, and I'm just going to rinse it using this amount of water, and Traditionally, Lao people, we roll our vermicelli noodles, so this is what I'm demonstrating here. Not exactly sure how to explain that, but you have to do it when it's wet. So I just take a good amount and I roll it up, and then I put it on a plate. And like I said, traditionally, you're going to want to put this in a colander because you want to strain the excess waters, because if it's not, it's going to go bad. As for the broth, I do have my water in a stock pot, and then I have my 5 pounds of chicken thigh in there with the skins on and all, because I love the skins in kapun. And after 20 to 30 minutes, you just want to simmer it, and you will skim the impurities, all of that nasty stuff floating on top of the pot. Just go ahead and skim that out, and you can skim any excess oils if you don't want that in your broth. Now, using a mortar or pestle, you want to transfer your chicken thighs into there, and then you're just going to start pounding it and breaking it into little pieces. This is how it's done traditionally. If you don't want to do it like this, then you could just pull it apart with your fingers or using a fork, but I did a little bit of both. I'm just going to be breaking it up into little pieces, and if I want it smaller than that, then I'm just going to be using my fingers. But the thickness or how you want the pieces really depends on you, but this is what looked good to me, and I just kept it at that. After your chicken is shredded, you want to go ahead and put your herbs in there, and then you want to put your chicken back in there as well. And this is when you're going to start seasoning it with all of the ingredients that I showed you guys previously, and then you can let it go over the stovetop for another half an hour. It really doesn't take that long to make kapun. It's not like it has to go hours and hours like pho. The full list of ingredients will be on the screen here, and it's going to be in the description box below. But basically, I just added all of my ingredients in there. It wasn't complicated at all, and you can see that it made a very nice red, beautiful color. And once you add the coconut milk, it just makes it even more delicious, and it looks delicious as well. And yeah, it's very, very simple to make kapun. You're just basically dumping all of the ingredients inside the pot, and the red curry paste in itself is very seasoned and delicious. It has a lot of herbs in there. If you want to check out what exactly is in there, I recommend that you Google it. There's so much different vegetable toppings that you can choose for your kapun, but I chose to go with carrots, cilantro, mint, banana leaves, and long beans, but a lot of people also like to put bean sprouts and cabbage in theirs. I just chose not to do that this time around, but just know that the options are endless, and it's completely up to you on this part as well. Now, to make a bowl of kapun, you're just going to be putting however much noodles you want inside of your bowl, and basically you're just going to be ladling however much broth you want in there as well, and then you're going to top it off with the different vegetables that I just showed you guys. And ladies and gentlemen and cat and dogs and aliens and whoever else is watching, this is how you make kapun. It's really, really easy, and like I said, there's a lot of different variations of how you can do this, but this is how I chose to do it today, and I hope you guys enjoy and are inspired to make some of your own.